just enormous. I mean, just too many options, and, there was only like 30 people in the congregation.
Yeah, everybody had a different idea.
And so Dawn is well aware of that story.
Do you guys know what the reasoning of why they didn't want to be associated with this?
Yes, because nobody knew who he was.
Oh, okay. I was afraid they found some skeleton in his
Yeah,
closet.
actually,
Oh, no.
he was a, yeah, he was a,
He was, it was he a heretic or something?
Yeah, he was a heretic.
And
Right
for his
after,
Unitarianism.
after the Nicene Creed or one of those, he was really outspoken about unity and not the
Right,
Trinity.
Anti-Trinitarian.
Oh, right, unity, right, got it, okay.
Whereas I used to call myself a Unitarian considering Christ.
And then I read about something, that's a new one. I read about this thing called adoptionism. That there was a bunch of people that wanted to, and I don't know when it was, 8th century, 10th century, people who wanted to say that Jesus was adopted by God and was son of God. And that there was a group called adoptionism.
It just goes to show you everybody's got a different idea.
There was a reference
She's
to
got a boron stick.
people who was against it, who was a name I recognize, so, but I can't remember, but
It's really hot after COVID.
I'm gonna add to the announcements today. There's a long list already.
One of them needs to be taken off.
You could get the humongous ones cheaper than.
The movie night will be held last Friday.
For those of you who believe all time is now, it's fine.
Yeah.
Or we can talk about the next one.
Where is that stick?
did anybody happen
It
to
might
go
be
to
under
the
the- it might be
Ukraine
under
thing at the Capitol?
Now you're
No,
right.
it's down below.
Okay,
Three other people from one of the UU churches that's part of the.
In the- in the lodge.
oh, but you wouldn't,
No, we really bad.
Set the bell down.
yesterday, it was
It's
when
the
the
new
wind
bell.
was blowing and, okay.
It's indoors things, but we thought it was outdoors. Accordingly, but
Well,
still,
that
it
means
was
that,
cold.
yeah, right. I've been to ones where they were indoors and it just simply means there's a smaller group.
But it was all three levels.
Oh, it was good. Good.
It's right over here.
Number 369 is our gathering song. I'll play through it because it's sort of new. You may know it, but we haven't done it recently, so.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to all who've joined us here in person, as well as all of those who've joined us online. We're glad that all of you are here with us this morning. My name is Brian. My pronouns are he, him, and just have a few announcements, and then I think we have some other announcements from the congregation as well. First of all, we want to make sure that you know we try to keep the service to a certain length, but if you need to leave, please know that we don't hold any hostages. Our new time effort is probably no more than an hour and 15 minutes, even though we still try to err towards 1 hour. But if you need to go, please do so. Also, at the end of the service, when we do the postlude, we ask that you either remain seat or have a seat and enjoy the postlude, or you can quietly mill about so that we can enjoy that musical celebration. Today we have Sparrow F. Alden joining us. We're really glad that she is here to enlighten us about some really important things that I certainly am invested in personally, but also I think that the Unitarian Universalist Church at large is one of the only places where we're actually working towards total inclusivity as much as we possibly can. So welcome, Sparrow. We're glad to have you. Next Sunday, Sana is going to be back, bringing us food for thought. That's all she sent me in the text. So that sounds interesting. Yeah, yummy. That's good. All right. And then Sunday, March the 30th, Molly Marshall and Cindy Beth Johnson, the president and vice president at United Theological Seminary, will be here joining us as well. Our third Friday service is this Friday. It is the equinox itself, otherwise known as Ostara. Dawn has put together an amazing service, and we're going to be celebrating and commemorating the pinwheel of principles that we'll actually be visiting today as well. More on that later, that are up for the recent UU adoption. We will be making crafts and having snacks. We all know that that's my favorite time. And we're going to celebrate the time in the Wheel of the Year. The wearing of pastel colors and spring finery, such as garden hats and Easter bonnets, still looking for my Easter bonnet, is highly encouraged. Still looking for volunteers to work on the security plan committee. Remember to sign up for treats online. And there also will be an OWL, Our Whole Lives facilitator training in April. See Kelly if you have an interest in that. All right. I think that's all I have. Other announcements. Kathy.
I am coordinating a food pack assembly thing. I'm sorry. So the Greater Twin Cities United Way is doing something called Flavors of Our Community, where they would like folks to make food packs that are culture specific, because they can't always get the foods that they are familiar with and that they know how to cook and that, reminds them of their own culture. So there's a whole list of different ones that can be made. I'm gonna pick a couple of them. If you would like to help out with that, either with a financial donation or help with shopping or packing, please let me know. I'm starting a list. And we already have a really good donation to start with, so there we go. So please see me.
Awesome.
Kathleen?
I just want to welcome everybody, or invite everybody, I guess. On April the 5th is my music gala, Kathleen and Friends. So please let me know if you're coming and want to attend. Chuck, Brian, Suki, myself, and Kathy are all going to be playing, so, and other people as well. So let me know if you're coming. Thank you.
Is that here? Or here?
No, it's in St. Paul. Yep.
Chuck.
Today is our normal day to have choir. If there are people that are willing to do that, I didn't get around to sending out an announcement this week or what reminder. Stick around and we'll run through it a little bit, but Dan's not here and Steph's not here and I don't know who else is
Peg's
missing.
not here.
Peg's not here, so we might just get together and say, let's do it next time or whatever. So,
It's all about togetherness, though.
yes.
Other announcements. I do have one final announcement that I forgot to script in here, but I remember. So if there are words on the screen, and we just be cognizant of the fact that sometimes people, when we have, every seat filled, sometimes we can't see the screen if somebody is behind you. So just kind of when you stand, at the times where we stand, just kind of look around and see, hey, am I blocking anybody's view? And then we can just move a little bit and then move back. A lot of times, like at the beginning, we don't stand up at all because it's all on the screen. But just try to, it's a problem that a growing church has when people come and we have lots of people around. So please just kind of think about that. And with that, I also will remind you that we don't take up a formal offering, but we do have a plate in the back. I think everybody that's here in person knows that. All of you that are online, please feel free to go to our website, and there are a couple of ways to give, so we appreciate that. Go ahead, Catherine.
One more little one. We do not at present have a plan for a new member Sunday again till throughout the rest of this church year. But if anyone is interested in joining, please see me. It's a whole 5-minute thing, or you can join without actually doing a ceremony as well. But just want to make sure everybody knows that is an open invitation. So thank you.
Thank you. With that, I invite you to take a deep, slow, gentle breath. Try to rid yourself of, as much as possible, of the chaos around us and all of the world. And meditate, reflect with us on this beautiful musical prelude. And now I invite you to join us in our opening words. Let us welcome ourselves and each other into the midst, the intersection of love and trust.
May we open ourselves to all the possibilities that both love and trust bring to our community.
We love the ocean, and we can stand by her shore for hours, savoring her sighs as her soft wavelets echo her eternal constancy.
And we also love the wind, the breeze, and the gale, sometimes gentle and sometimes not, but always blowing into the world the breath of life.
We love the earth as she offers us home and sustenance, supporting our very existence.
We love all these facets of our world, loving them differently, yet loving them all, and trusting in them to push us forward.
Loving one does not mean that we do not love the others. Each evokes a different part of us and brings us different lessons.
And if we discover another love, no love is otherwise diminished. Rather, through trust, love begets love, and so it goes.
Therefore, in the spirit of infinite possibilities for love through trust, we light this chalice together and say,
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers, to heal with love, to help with compassion, to bless with joy, to serve you, Spirit of freedom, in the fullness of community.
So as I light our candle today, I'd like you to make note of the robustness of our spark candle. I'm going to light our transfer candle from it. Okay, so now note that the robustness of the first candle did not diminish. It's just as robust as it always was. Now I'm going to use the transfer candle to light this. Note that this candle is just as robust as it always was. This is a lesson in love. Loving another does not diminish the love of the first.
And now I invite you to rise as you are able and join us in our opening hymn, which is number 369. 369.
Or is it 307?
Oh, 307. 307.
Yes, 369.
I've never been strong at numbers, sorry. Don't ever trust me with numbers. 307. Please be seated. And I would invite those who are going to be joining in our combination of beloved community moment and reading, please come forward and stand around the mic up here. Now, as we assemble to do that, just understand that both today and Friday are going to be centered around the theme of the reading that we're about to do. So it is by design that we are really working on this new UU adoption of our reshaping of the way that our principles and other things are expressed. So this is a great segue to what we'll be doing on Friday as well. Sparrow, take it away.
Proposed revision to Article 2 of the Unitarian Universalist Association bylaws. Who doesn't like a good bylaw revision, right? As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant congregation to congregation and through our association to support and assist one another in our ministries. We draw from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We're accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Inseparable from one another, these shared values will now speak.
We honor the interdependent web of all existence. With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We covenant to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality and justice. We will work to repair harm and damaged relationships.
Pluralism. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect.
Justice. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systematic oppression. We support the use of inclusive democratic process to make decisions within our congregations, our association, and society at large.
Transformation. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect.
Generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality.
Equity. We declare that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities.
Thank you all for sharing. It is that time during our service where we invite you to come forward if you are moved to do so and share a joy and or concern and light a candle from the chalice. And at the end, I will light a final candle for all of those unspoken joys and concerns. And if you have a joy and concern online, please chime in and Dawn will light a candle on your behalf.
I guess I'll go back up. Should have stayed there.
Rest for the week.
All right.
So I'm on this side?
This way. Okay. So this is a joy, and I want to thank Suki for all the beautiful music we play together. We played at a fish fry, St. Albert of the Great Church, Friday night. We played for an hour. People loved us. The priest said, they're really good, and we need to put them first. We should have put them first. Anyway, they liked our music, and we have a show tomorrow at another place. So, yay.
Awesome.
We appreciate you both and all the musicians in our congregation.
Something happened to me last week. I guess this is a joy. So I'm driving around and I see a big black truck with a license plate, MAGA 45, okay? And I didn't get angry. I didn't get disgusted. I just said, okay, I'm passionate about politics, so is that guy. As long as he respects women and doesn't tailgate, I am fine with him.
May it be so.
As I was coming to church today, I saw a big pickup parked in front of my neighbor Lowell's townhome. Lowell has been failing and dementia is setting in. And she comes over and has trouble with her phone and has trouble with her remotes and TVs, and I've been helping her for the last 4 months. And today her sons came to pick her up and move her out. And I just felt really sad, and I didn't want to go over there and say anything because she's really agitated about the whole thing. But she's moving with with one of her sons who lives in far western Minnesota, and she's lived as a neighbor for 25 years. And I'm just concerned for her because she's not going to be. She doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And there's no easy answer. She can't really live alone anymore. So goodbye, Lowell.
Yeah.
This is a joy. Suki and I have a concert this afternoon at 3 o'clock, St. Mark's Lutheran Church, Maplewood. And we're playing Peter and the Wolf, Dvorak, Josh Godfrey, and a number of different percussion pieces. So it's free, 3 p.m.
And Bruce gonna play in the percussion quartet.
Oh, nice. Cool. It's fun to play music with them.
Bruce will be there.
Sticking with the music theme today, one of my choruses had a 5-hour retreat / coaching session yesterday, and it just was amazing, the improvements that we were able to make, and I wasn't that exhausted like I thought I'd be at the end of it. And they have similar values of social justice and inclusion. We went from an all-male big chorus to all gender inclusive, and it's wonderful to sing with people of diverse backgrounds, and yeah, it's just great.
This coming Thursday is my grandson Ryland's 13th birthday.
Oh my gosh.
So now we're going to have 2 teenagers. We celebrated yesterday. And we had, at his request, pizza, and his brother Preston made him a chocolate cake.
Yeah, so I echo Kathleen what did on Friday, and also Bruce, the concert, especially the violin piece. It's written by a female composer, a modern piece. So each measure is a different time signature. Oh so that piece could be a little concern. And also I got a chance to play in a festival called Film Score Festival. So local filmmakers make 10 movies, and they pair with local composers to make the music for the 5 minutes movie. And we're gonna show the movie, and I'm gonna play live. So it's on April 26th, Saturday. We will do 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. at the History Theater.
Oh, nice.
So it's a very cool event. Support local filmmakers, support live music, support local composers, please.
Cool.
Yes.
Concerned, yeah, and Steph are homesick today. Sounds like Annabelle's doing better than the 2 of them, but she couldn't get here on her own. And a group of us went and were at the protest in support of Ukraine yesterday, and it was a powerful event and really cool. And we brought the signs. So.
I think I have 2, so I'll try to make it quick. First one is half joy, half concern. I think our birder room is a little over like 200 chicks right now.
Oh my God.
So please keep our electric bill in your prayers.
You said birder, not burger, right?
Yeah, bird. This the 14th of March was actually my mom's birthday, so I guess I just wish her well.
So this is a joy. Today's my 13th birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wesley. Happy birthday to you.
There you go. Try not tipping it so much. Put it on the side.
Yeah, lift the green can.
There you got it.
That was magic.
We had to check that out.
Careful. Good enough.
That'll work. That will work.
It's okay. It's okay if
There we go.
Dawn gets burned.
Yeah, right.
That's part of the.
Part of the sacrifice of being the service.
This is for my father. He fell last week. He's doing okay, but I'm just sending him good thoughts. And my stepmom's family too is going through a lot of stuff, health problems. So this is for all of them. Ouch! Now I did it.
No, please, let me.
There's just so many candles in there.
There's more joy somewhere, isn't there?
We're burning with love.
That's a good segue to this. So there'll be more about this in my upcoming blog this week. Nothing like baiting you to read my blog, right? But I promised a young person that I would mention their name. So if you're watching the recording or live, Casey, here's your moment. This is kind of just a thought. The things we do in life, no matter what it is that we do, often there are side things that happen. I call them side things, where your life and your choices and your commitment to inclusivity and love and truth really do make a difference. So last Sunday, when I was delivering eggs, a parent brought her child, who is a 14-year-old non-binary trans young person, to meet me and said, see, there are people in the LGBTQ plus community who are leaders and doing the right thing. And I was very happy to meet you, Casey. Thank you for letting me use your name. We just never know whose life we affect.
Careful.
Yes.
We need a bigger bowl.
And now I'll light a final candle for all those joys and concerns that remain unspoken. May we know that whatever befalls us in life, we are held in the loving embrace of this community. And now we say together, for all these joys and concerns, both spoken and unspoken, we hold you in our hearts. Sparrow F. Alden served the UU congregation of the Upper Valley in Norwich, Vermont, as the credentialed religious educator for 20 years. She is a professor of English Lit and creative writing. You know, English teachers, we rule the world. And she lives with her wife and dogs in a cabin in the woods of New Hampshire. She appreciates the technology which keeps her children and members of her polycule in touch. I would like to introduce to you Sparrow. Please take it away.
Yay. Hello, Sparrow.
Good morning.
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 Thank you, Minnesota, for being a refuge of acceptance and welcome. I am broadcasting from traditional Coasec Abenaki lands. My pronouns are she, her, and, of course, English professor, whom. Today we're talking about love and trust. How do we know what is expected within our most intimate relationships, our most powerful, most vulnerable, most influential relationships? First, of course, are the relationships modeled to us in early childhood. Is that the affectionate calm of a loving set of parents? Is it communication, gentleness, nurturance of a devoted caregiver to the infant? The kindness and presence of extended family? We certainly hope so. We do know that this is not always the case, and that justice issue merits more consideration in its own sermon at another time. Today, we're talking about love and trust. Another very early influential model of what is expected in our most important relationships is TV situational comedies. I watched a lot of sitcoms in elementary school in the 70s. I learned that laugh tracks went with men who were more than friends, with a man sharing an apartment with two women, and overall, with the ironic pressures of the audience and their favorite character knowing one thing, while another character made an incorrect assumption, and no one was allowed to clarify or reach understanding because one does not simply ask for information, and one does not mention anything that society says we should be reticent or private or even ashamed of. I learned that some people should indeed be ashamed, not for what they chose to do with their lives or with their honor, but for whom they loved romantically and how they loved romantically, or what they knew about their own identities. I learned that some people should closet themselves and never let the world know them for who they are, that for the comfort of everyone else, they should participate in their own erasure. Equity. We declare that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness from the proposed revision to Article 2. Today, we're talking about love and trust. During the sudden explosion of the internet in the 1990s, marginalized people could communicate with one another on an unprecedented scale, without gatekeepers such as the medical professionals, whose protocols included mind-destroying treatments, without gatekeepers such as clergy members whose responses included soul-destroying treatments. The lonely teenager who thought they were the only one in our town, whose own inner notion of loving adult relationship did not look like the approved sitcom couples, but more like the laugh track characters, could meet the millions of other atypical people in the world, communicating together, trying to figure out lives that did not have sitcom role models. These people, our friends, our neighbors, myself, discovered that societal norms are made up, and it is possible to build something new from the foundations of our own values. Transformation. We adapt to the changing world. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. From the proposed revision to Article 2. We adapt to the changing world. Welcome. Welcome to a world where we get to define who touches whose heart and how. And instead of guessing at what's expected and wanted from whom and when, because we're not allowed to talk about relationships and sexuality, what if, bear with me, what if we talked about relationships and sexuality? This is a sermon about love and trust. What if one source of a young person's understanding on how to have sustainable, respectful, caring relationships was their community of faith, which offered our whole lives? OWL, the church curriculum about relationships and responsibility and sexuality that clearly contradicts the shame and silence that other churches might tout. The OWL program has modules for all ages, including adults, and I very much encourage Dakota UU to send congregants to OWL facilitator training. OWL students learn to communicate about sexuality without shame. OWL students know that they are part of our beloved community as they are, and that our expectations are respect and kindness. Please see Kelly McCowan to become trained to facilitate this very important ministry. Communication, love, and trust. What if my wife, Grace, came to me in tears one night, fresh from dinner with one of her close friends? What if she fell to her knees beside my chair and choked out, "We fell in love. Sparrow, I love you and I love her. Can we find a way to make it all right?" Grace didn't hide it. She did not choke these feelings back into a dark closet where they would become a shadow that ate at her honor. She did not allow shame to become part of her way of loving. She loves me, and she trusts me with her vulnerability. She trusted me that night with her heart and a fledgling love. This was my wife of 25 years at the time. We raised 2 wonderful children and built a house together, supported one another in our challenging careers. What could I possibly say other than there's room for more love? More love is good. We'll figure it out. We talked. We read about ethical ways of being non-monogamous. There are many. We learned about ethical ways of being non-monogamous, which aligned with our values of respect, commitment, transparency, sustainability. We talked more. We learned about polyamory. We talked with Grace's new person and her husband. We talked with courtesy and kindness and patience until we reached consensus. We dismantled the cultural assumptions that we all had about mononormativity. It was very hard work, and I believe it was deeply worth it, and that I am a better human being for doing that work. Justice. We support the use of inclusive, democratic processes to make decisions within society at large. From the proposed revision to Article 2. What's polyamory? There's monogamy, there's non-monogamy. Both types of relationship can be ethical or not. Ethical non-monogamy can be found across cultures and across ages, and polyamory is one form of ethical non-monogamy. It speaks to long-term emotional bonds with more than one intimate partner, with full consent and transparency of everyone involved and touched. Is there a hyphen in polyamory? Is there a U in the amory part of the word? Is it all right to mix a Greek prefix with a Latin root? As you can tell, there are plenty of controversies surrounding polyamory. But this service is about love and trust. About 7% of United States citizens report being polyamorous. Another 7% report that they were at one point in their lives. Neurodiverse folk and genderqueer folk are represented more frequently in the polyamorous community than society at large. There are a few other tiny trends, but not statistically significant. Interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality, and justice from the proposed revision to Article 2. I'd like to share a bit about my lived experience in polyamory. Participating in more than one meaningful romantic relationship takes communication and time. And this is a sermon about love and trust. I love Grace. the woman to whom I have now been married for 34 years. She's here on Zoom with us this morning. We communicate with kindness and curiosity and patience, and I trust absolutely that we will always make time for those important moments and the important talks, which have become less difficult with practice and time. That relationship of graces to which I referred has come to a conclusion, and she now has a lovely partner, Emily. Emily and I see each other a few times per week when Emily stays over with Grace at our house. We work on communicating clearly from our very different backgrounds about schedules and expectations. Emily has brought a menorah into our home for celebrating Hanukkah, and we are building a friendly camaraderie in our support of Grace. Now and then, the three of us go out to a show or a meal together, and Emily is a vital part of our family activities. Emily and Grace met through roller derby. That's part of Grace's life that I do not share. I can't be in every part of her life. People need space from one another as well as closeness, and I love that she gets to share roller derby and other things important to her with someone she loves. I hope you support your local roller derby league. I have a sweetheart, Christopher, who is here today on Zoom with his wonderful wife, Crystal. Christopher and I fell in love online over our shared passion for creating stories and encouraging other writers. Crystal and I have a great deal in common. We text each other memes about coffee and like to call each other on Saturday during chore time so we can commiserate, or she can help me learn a new cooking skill. We lean into one another when we're worried about Christopher. They live in Michigan, about 800 miles from me in New Hampshire, and both of them welcome me as part of their family, their household, when I visit about twice a year. We even attend Berrien UU Fellowship together. Something wonderful blossoms in my heart when I hold Christopher's hand on a walk around the neighborhood as Crystal holds his other one. When I speak of my wife, Grace, and my sweetheart, Christopher, I feel a soaring freedom from secrets or closets or shame. When one of my friends asks me, "And how are your loves?" I feel seen and welcome and truly cared for. When my niece, Moon M, comes to visit on Zoom, when I'm giving a sermon, I feel so welcome. If there is one favor I can ask you lovely people today at Dakota UU, it is to let your friend, your nibbling, your minister know that you see them and truly care about their lives and their loves and their struggles and their triumphs directly by asking, by demonstrating your love and trust. Pluralism. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. From the proposed amendment to Article 2. Doesn't Sparrow get jealous? You might be asking. Insert pedantic English teacher moment. I definitely become envious. Envy is wanting what someone else has. I envy Grace for having a local relationship, for having that intense sparkle of new relationship energy. I envy Crystal the privilege of seeing and holding Christopher every day. Imagine seeing a toddler discovering puppies for the first time and squealing with glee. Do you get a small hit of glee yourself? And are you so very glad that this child is happy? I see Grace basking in Emily's love, finding joy in a relationship completely unlike ours. And I am glad that Grace is happy. This feeling, the happiness at someone else's happiness, is called compersion, the opposite of envy. And I am lucky enough to have tons of compersion to outweigh my envy. Jealousy is the jealous hoarding of a resource to oneself. I can't own Grace or Christopher. It's like trying to own a mountain. It is literally impossible to keep them for myself. I love them and want happiness for each of them. I trust them, and I trust that they will make time for me, for vulnerability together and laughter together, and the simple logistics of Grace giving me privacy when Christopher calls. I am not jealous of them, keeping their hearts confined, rather the opposite. I want their hearts to expand in the way that is best for them to their utmost potential. What is the opposite of jealousy? The opposite of hoarding resources to oneself, which denies them to others? Generosity. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. From the proposed revision to Article 2. The candle passes flame to another, and its own fire is not diminished. How do we know what's expected in our intimate relationships? In our polycule of crystal, Christopher, myself, Grace, and Emily, well, we talk about that. What do we find in our constellation of relationships? Love and trust, manifested as communication, respect, kindness, and patience. Let us always draw from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. From the proposed revision to Article 2. I believe that we have been privileged to have special music for meditation chosen. Kathleen, would you please?
Thank you, Sparrow. I would like to open up the conversation. I know we usually allot about 10 minutes for this, so any conversation that does not get to finish, we will obviously be able to do that after, during treats, and Sparrow has volunteered to stay around for that too, if you want to do that.
Also, we have a special microphone, so if you have something to share or comment, raise your hand and I'll get the mic to you.
And hold it close to your mouth. Are you hearing it? Okay. So I will start. I have a confession to make. Yes, I need the absolution. So Kelly and I would go to Praise Star District Conference or the UUA General Assembly and go to the, what do they call it, the floor with the booths, anyway.
The vendors.
The vendors there, yeah. And there would be, stand that said polyamory, and I'm going to go walk on the other side of the aisle and see what they're doing over there, because it made me uncomfortable, and I didn't know how to, so I didn't want to make eye contact, like, oh, scary. So thank you, Sparrow, and thank you, Brian, for making it less scary. I think I might actually say hello.
I was really worried.
Yes, go ahead.
I would love to reflect what you've said. The Unitarian Universalists for Polyamory Awareness have a table every year at General Assembly. And at the 2014 General Assembly, 2 UUPA members moved to include the category of family and relationship structures in the UUA's non-discrimination rule, along with other amendments. And the package of proposed amendments was ratified by the GA delegates.
Nice.
Great.
I have a question more than a comment. I think that these values, they've actually been adapted, right? It's no longer proposed. I thought they had been adapted.
I believe that we're in the middle of a 2-year study that it has been, that the General Assembly said, yes, we're going to study these for 2 years. And that now congregations are in communication and religious education about them. And I think Reverend Brian let me know if I've got it, that the actual vote will be at General Assembly in 2026. Is that correct?
That's how I understand it, yes. All right, now I'm worried.
Sparrow, you probably already know, but Brian and I are we've been together for like 5 years now. We're polyamorous, and it's nice to feel seen from across the map. So I really appreciate you coming by to speak.
It is lovely to meet you.
Anybody else?
Is there a group or a page if I want to learn more about that, is there a place I can dig deeper or meet people, share the same?
There's lots.
There are lots of resources and the best place for you to begin is by Googling or searching on Unitarian Universalists for Polyamory Awareness. And the group is simply an advocacy group for making sure that family and relationship structure, for example, is recognized in contracts, in non-discrimination policies, but they have a ton of resources, and you'll find, and as with everything on the internet, I want you to start there and then use resources and put your grain of salt detect on your shoulder because when it comes to relationships and sexuality, there are some pretty not nice people out there. So have your BS detector in full gear, but look for the people who are about justice, inclusivity, full consent, and also Unitarian Universalist for Polyamory Awareness is a group on Facebook where you can find me and we can chat and we can point you at things. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I recognize that this is a pretty deep subject that provokes a lot of thought. I've been here for almost 2 years, and this is really kind of the first opening of the can. Well, we won't say worms, but whatever.
Chickens.
Who doesn't love a good worm? Brian, may I tell you my biggest hope for coming and talking to your congregation today?
Please.
Yes. I hope that when your kid comes home with the beloved other whom you've known for maybe a year and says, and this other person is special to me too, it is my deepest hope that people in this congregation will say, how wonderful that there's more love. Can you please tell me about that? I care so much about what makes you happy that I want to know more. That's what we're hoping for today. And I want to thank again Crystal and Christopher and Grace for being here with me. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes. And with that, I invite us to continue that discussion if we feel moved to do so after, during treats, but let's rise as we are able and join in hymn number 95. Hymn number 95. This was a special request by Sparrow.
Yes, we will sing the 4 verses, then we'll go back to the first and sing the first one twice through again and end.
Somewhere
Sparrow, you are going to be giving us the sending insight before we listen to our prelude, our postlude.
Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the light of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
And it just now dawned on me, tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. Oh, now I get it. My mind is always on chickens. Please join us for fellowship. Also, don't forget to come and join us for a continuation of the conversation about these new proposed revisions Friday at 6:30. How about that for a plug? Thanks again, Sparrow. We appreciate that.
The problem is the hat itself, without any decorations, is really awful. But it's tight enough, and it has a short enough, whatever you call it, brim, that I can wear it when it's windy. All my other hats have.
Just in case anybody wants to come up and talk to her for just the microphone. If anybody wants to come and ask Sparrow or talk to Sparrow, just come up to the mic up here and we can talk. Otherwise, let me know if we're finished and we'll take the mic down.
Can I help you put this away when you're ready?
Sparrow, the Merriam-Webster dictionary did not have the word polycule in it, so I had to Google it.
Good, I'm glad you did. It's not in there, it's not in the Oxford English Dictionary, but polyamory is.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it said that polycule was coined in 2010, so I guess you give it time, right?
It's pretty, but it means what it sounds like. It's the molecular construction of your polyamorous family. And our group forms a W. Crystal, Christopher, Sparrow.
Right.
Every group will be a different group.
Yep. Well, I enjoyed your talk today. I still have a great deal to absorb, partly because I was in a 39-year marriage with just really, I don't know why I stayed in that for that long with no love and no good sex and that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely envious when somebody has one or more romantic relationships, because I don't. But yeah, I grew up in a family, but my parents were very influenced by their parents, who were part of the Victorian age. I was in the Unitarian Church in Burlington from 4th grade through high school, and I don't know how long you've been with the UU, but I was in LRY, and we traveled all over New Hampshire and Massachusetts and stuff like that. So, have you been in for a long time?
Oh, since 1964.
Oh, okay, that was about the same time I did. I started there, yeah. And you know what? New England churches were a whole different story in those days. They were so Christian, you know, and then,
And in northern New England particularly, it was primarily universalist. The merger was only in 1962, so the culture of educated Unitarians in the city and very Christian Universalists in the country still had not blended. So
okay, Burlington was always a First Unitarian Society, or First Unitarian Church, so whatever. Anyway, thank you anyway, and I will be sending you a check. I will be sending you the check. All right, thanks.
Hello, beautiful Crystal. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sparrow.
And somebody said, brought to mind one of the.
Okay, the other stuff.
We'll see you next time.
It's in the bag.
Thank you, everyone. I think I can hear you, Crystal. I love you guys. I love you, Christopher. Thank you. Farewell, everyone.
Thank goodness it wasn't outside. We had a whole conversation too, maybe 6 souls. We did everything but the golden.
What did you think, or if you got a chance to look at the email I got from
They're not that,
okay, but he basically recommended 3 different.
we hunted down the volunteers too.
Yeah, I sent you 2.
So we didn't drive all
But
over.
one had really 4. Yeah, okay. The other one had really 4. One
Take a break. It's my Kathleen.
Yeah, no, the first one was confirmation about putting
Right,
$6,000
first one ever, yeah.
into.
Yeah, it's at 3 to 5, basically, we could go longer, we have to do it.
I wasn't.
Yeah, it's in the mail. Yeah, 526, Selby. 526.
Yeah, it wasn't a t-shirt that he was.
On the 5th of April, at 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Saturday. Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, no, I thought about that.
There was
So there'll be other people.
it's just your basic.
Like Chuck and Kathy. Yeah. So I named you. Was that coming out?
Days stuff there's.
Right, well, I basically told them, you know, that we would, yeah, first of all, the 60 went into that 4%, and it's a money mark. And then I told them that it helps us at 150, and leave 150, that extra 100 that we don't put in mutual funds would go in that 4% instead of, you know. So, you know, I'm already, I'm getting advice, I mean, we're already taking that 60,000 and putting it in something more than 1%. Yeah, and it's, you know, it's kind of nice to have a little bit in there in case it goes but it was like, really, that's not right. And I think, I don't know how many, I would say 2 or 3 days to go from Schwab to that. And you know what's really interesting is the way it's set up, is that to transfer money from Associated to Schwab, you have to go into Schwab and.
I'll have to find out how many.
It's interesting. Well, you can set it up if you want, right?
Memorial we didn't know about when we made that.
I don't have.
And that was also.
Routing and
That was also going to be. Further gonna be.
Do it.
I've had the opportunity to listen to her lecture.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll be watching on Sunday.
Next Sunday.
So let's try, let's see if we can plan on
Setting up.
And I don't know.
Maybe to see what you think about
I'll send out
the Tim's
I'll do that this
emails that,
afternoon.
you know, at the end of
I'll help you.
What's the other thing you're gonna help me with?
I mean, you're already signed up.
clarify the council before you and I just. Okay.
Just wondering if mail or some other.
No, it comes from, it has his name on it.
And he sends out a notice for what the.
What the service is gonna be.
I'm sure he's around.
Don't you do that, Leash?
I guess not. Is Carrie sick?
I'm glad you're with me.
Yeah.
And it's really nice that they're doing this, my whole family goes to this.
Some winter days.
Yes, I thought I would be because I have been awake since 2:30 in the morning. That's one of the reasons why I brought my crochet. Because if I'm starting to doze, if I'll just keep my hands busy, I
20 years, 25 years, something like that, and so I
I'm sure I probably will.
We're friends.
It's Sunday anyway, because Sunday is a really good day for napping, I think.
Sometimes you might take a long nap and you have to wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, but I didn't take a long nap. I was at the Capitol protesting yesterday, so I didn't get a nap yesterday.